What is going on, NFC West Roundtable? Welcome to another video. Today, we are going to be unpacking one free agent signing I think each and every single team should entertain as the new league year is right around the corner. Now, this video is obviously powered by BetUS, the #1 sports book on the face of the planet for everything and anything sports betting. And since today's topic is free agency, have no fear, BetUS actually has all of those lines, including of course, with Deebo Samuel. I'm sorry, 49ers fans, but just in case you're trying to cash in your bets on your wide receiver hitting the open market, feel free to do so. Now, BetUS is currently matching 150% of your first deposit all the way up to $2,000 and 125% of your second and your third deposit. So take advantage of this promo when you can. Now, free agency, let's take a look, starting off with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, as you guys know, the San Francisco 49ers are in a relatively reasonable cap situation, $45 million where it stands. And granted, this base salary cap, they still haven't announced the official number. It's going to be between 275 million to 281. But regardless, 49 million in overall cap, or excuse me, 45 million is a good starting point. Now, I'm not sure what this is going to look like if, for example, Brock Purdy ultimately ends up signing his deal this offseason, or whether or not that you attempt to retain some of your players that are pending free agents, but not a bad starting point. Now, when I look at the San Francisco 49ers, I've been seeing quite a few departures that are entering into 2025. We heard about Ward, your starting corner. So that was a couple of prospects I was taking a look at. Same thing with Deebo Samuel. Maybe it's a wide receiver. But I think the most bang for your buck, and especially since the 49ers are saying goodbye to one of their safeties this offseason, I have one that I think might be a pretty solid gamble. And I think you guys might be able to get the most out of him. And that just so happens to be Javon Holland. Now, he hit the league by storm during his first couple of years in the league. Last year was a bit of a downturn, but we all know that the Miami Dolphins are a dumpster fire of an organization. I really like what Javon Holland could potentially bring to the San Francisco 49ers defense. He's still young. He's 25 years old. And while last year was less than, I'd say, marvelous, solid addition that your team could add right into your secondary. And whether or not that San Francisco wanted to wait for the draft to address the cornerback position, or there are also some solid opportunities, like I would say Asante Samuel Jr. out of the LA Chargers, that could also be an option. But Javon Holland has to be my guy for you. Now, as far as market value, and keep in mind, do take this with a grain of salt. This is just based off of other safeties across the league that Spot Track believes you can make a reasonable comparison to. But $15.1 million per year, a 4-year contract worth at about $60 million. I'm still very high on Javon Holland. Don't let his last season fool you. I think he is a wonderful prospect. Now, moving on to our good friends, the LA Rams. And man, I'll tell you what, Rams fans have been going through it for the past couple of weeks with all of the question marks regarding if they are going to be bringing back Matthew Stafford. Then obviously at the beginning of the offseason, where Cooper Kupp was told that he is going to be traded. So there's a lot of changes, I'm sure, that LA will be anticipating. And there's quite a few holes that I think could be addressed, but there's one specific player that I would love to see on the LA Rams, that I would love to see become an LA Ram, rather. And that is a gentleman on the offensive line, right guard. And the Kansas City Chiefs ultimately did not exercise his franchise tag. And that just so happens to be right guard Trey Smith. Now, we all know that the Kansas City Chiefs interior offensive line, minus the Super Bowl performance, obviously, we'll just completely ignore that. It was elite. Like, we are talking all pros, center, left guard, right guard. Trey Smith was a part of why they were so effective. I think with all the question marks regarding your quarterback, like whether or not that it's Aaron Rodgers or whether or not that you're rolling the dice on a rookie or maybe some other free agent, I think you need to invest in that offensive line. And I think this could be like the biggest splash move that you could make. Trey Smith is calling for about $19.7 million per year, 4-year contract at around $78 million. I would absolutely love this for the LA Rams. Now, obviously, like we could discuss a potential wide receiver. We could also discuss several options within your secondary. But again, like when it comes into the LA Rams, much better cap situation than a lot of other teams in this league. And I'm sure that you'll be able to address that defense accordingly. Now, moving on, our good friends, the Arizona Cardinals, right? I'll tell you what, when I look at that Arizona Cardinals team, it was one of the most piss poor examples of a pass rush I think that I have ever seen in my entire life. And I really hope that I didn't offend any Cardinals fans by saying this. However, it's something I think that the front office and coaching staff is largely aligned on. You need to be able to get to the quarterback. You need to be able to stop the run, both things that Arizona struggled with tremendously. And I got to tell you, I was between a couple of different pending free agents on the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line. I was thinking Josh Sweat. Yeah, like maybe you can go on ahead and make a move for him, right? Had a stellar playoff performance, stellar season last year in 2024. But you know what I want to do? I want to address the beef of the defensive line. I want to address the interior of the defensive line. And luckily for Arizona Cardinals fans, that just so happens to be a solid pickup. Milton Williams. All right, let's go on ahead and bring in Milton Williams, defensive end out of the Philadelphia Eagles. He's going to be a bit cheaper when it comes into it. Not so much as Josh Sweat. Sweat's going for like 17, 18 million based off of the market value that I have been seeing, but $12 million average annual salary, 3 years, $36 million, and he's 25 years old. He is coming from a very successful pass rush out of Philadelphia, and I think that he would do nothing but assist Arizona moving forward. Shout out to Milton Williams and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, have no fear, folks, because when I sit here and I look at your cap space, the Arizona Cardinals have over $72 million in overall room. So not only could you bring in Milton Williams, you could also bring in Josh Sweat, for example, or you could also bring in or make a massive trade for Myles Garrett, for Max Crosby. But if I'm the Arizona Cardinals front office, or if I am a fan, the number one damn thing that I need to address is the pass rush. Get to the damn quarterback, and then maybe Kyler Murray and Maserati Marv might be able to do something in that division over in the NFC West. Sound off and let me know your thoughts on this. Last but not least, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, boys, I'm not going to lie to you. The Seahawks, I would say, are probably in the worst position out of each and every single team in the NFC West division. They are currently $6 million over the cap or $9 million over the cap based off of the recent change. And granted, there are a lot of moves that they could make. A lot of talk about getting rid of Tyler Lockett. A lot of talk about potentially trading DK Metcalf, right? Maybe restructuring Geno, maybe restructuring so-and-so. You'll be able to figure out your cap room situation. But let's say that they are able to get it up to about, like $30-40 million this year. I think that secondary needs to be the number one problem to be solved, if you will, specifically on the outside. Now, I have always been a massive fan of the secondary out in the New York Jets. I understand that they really haven't been able to execute, whether or not that you want to call it a piss poor organization or piss poor coaching, and they're likely synonymous at that point. But one specific free agent that really makes sense to me, I have always been super high on him. If he was not next to Sauce Gardner, I would say that he would be a CB1 for several teams, over 75% of the teams. I really like what McDonald could potentially implement with our good friend, DJ Reed. Now, don't look at his performance last year or the Jets defense as last year as an identifier of what to expect. Several years, he was top 5 in DVOA in preventing separation. Very solid corner that I think automatically is better than both of the corners that were currently on your roster that were in the 2024 season. DJ Reed is sitting at $14.7 million average annual salary. This is market value, mind you, and a 4-year, $58 million deal. This is a hell of a lot cheaper than what a lot of corners or younger corners are going to call for. And like I said, this is a cheap way to get some talent and further assistance on the damn secondary. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to have to do it for a must need for the NFC West and free agency acquisitions. Please sound off in the comments and let me know who you would like your team to target during free agency. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on bell notifications so you never miss an episode. And you definitely never miss a live NFC West Roundtable debate show. Love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This episode is powered by BetUS, and we will see you next time.